The application process for the scheme is tough, I'll make no bones about it. It involves 5 online tests and an application form. Typically, I would say the whole process will take you about 3 hours. You don't have to do it all in one go, you can take breaks, and I'd certainly recommend that. And I would also encourage people to go away and practice the tests as much as they can before they start. Once you get through the online test stage, you come in for a face-to-face interview. The good thing about that is you're seen by a couple of senior leaders within the NHS. Typically they're alumni of the scheme, or if they're not alumni of the scheme, there will be people who will be looking after you when you join. So they have that feel for the scheme, which I think is really helpful. You'll also get to spend some time with current trainees who will have that kind of off the sort of record conversation with you, which I think is really helpful for candidates. It will give them the insight in terms of what to expect and some helpful hints and tips around the way. We certainly regard our process as a two-way process. Yes, we're choosing you, but we want to give you as much information as possible to help you make a good decision. After the face-to-face interview comes the tough one, I'm afraid, and that's an assessment centre which takes place up in Leeds in our offices up there, and it's a whole day process. It's a kind of e-tray exercise, if you like, and it's very much trying to make it a typical day in your life if you get onto the scheme. So again, us testing you, but also your chance to see whether or not it's something that you would enjoy. And I think the best part of that day is at the end, we finish it with a kind of feedback session where we sit you down, you've had time to reflect upon the day, and you talk to us about what you think you've done well and the areas that you could improve on. And that's not just for us to catch you out, it honestly isn't. It's really for you as a candidate to reflect upon your strengths and weaknesses and what you can do differently if you come to another assessment centre, and even better if you get on the scheme, the areas that you know you need to work on. So if you're thinking of applying to our graduate scheme, there's lots of advice I can give you, but I'll try and keep it reasonably short. So I think the first one is the online test part is difficult. I'll make no bones about that. It's a tough part of the scheme. So make sure you practice as much as possible. Don't rush into the tests. Read the instructions carefully, and take them at a good time for you. So that's one bit. I think the other side is just get under the skin of the NHS. What's fantastic about the organisation is it's incredibly open. If you go on Twitter, so many of our trainees are on there and they're really helpful. If you want to ask them a question, you want some insight into the challenges of working in the NHS, they'll do it. But not just the current trainees, the alumni are on there as well, and they'll often help. It always sort of fills me with a sense of pride when I see people tweet a question to us at the scheme, and half a dozen other people within minutes ping a response back offering to help. So do your research, understand the challenges that we face. Don't just sort of follow the media, do your own things as well, think about it, get in there, talk to people. If you can, volunteer, GP surgery, maybe your local hospital. And again, that will give you that insight into the organisation so that when you do join us, and fingers crossed you do, you'll understand the challenges that you'll be facing and the sorts of things that people are saying about the system and what needs to be changed and done. So 2 tips, I think: practice the online tests and try and find out as much about the organisation and our challenges as you possibly can. I think the lovely thing about our scheme is there are no particular experiences that we look for or skills. We're looking for potential really, and what we want obviously is people who are bright, who are clever, and are able to come in and make a difference and make a change to how we work. So in terms of experience, I wouldn't worry too much about getting particular work experience, but obviously anything that you do out there will be helpful. So volunteering, particularly if you can try and do in some sort of relevant sector to the NHS, can make a difference. Pretty much every hospital has got a volunteer department, so you can always go and volunteer there. Just a few hours a day will really help. And it's not so much about what it will give you in terms of experience, it's also the insight it will give you, which will help you in terms of applying to us and helping you make that decision whether or not you want to be in the NHS going forward.